Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hey everybody, welcome back to J is for Justice. My name is Jay and I am your host. Thank you for joining today. I see all the beautiful moderators like Diana HB, Robat, Melissa B, Flobo, Angie B, all of the beautiful mods. You guys give the mods some love. We've got some great moderators here. Hey, John Gone Girl. Hello, Canvas and Crime. Today we're going over Pappa Rodgers, but before we do, we're going to get into the Dateline things. Hello, Cindy E. Hello, Amy C., another beautiful moderator. Thanks for being here. Greetings from Norway. Good to see you. Hi, Cole, my favorite viewer. Do I have any plans for the weekend? I do. I think I'm going to go to the beach tomorrow. What's up, CE No? Hi, to Katie Baby. Kiki loves you. Good to see you guys today. Happy Friday. It's Friday Live. Jeep and Nana, good to see you. Daff. Mimi. So we had the hearing that we watched together. And the half of the hearing was behind closed doors. Elizabeth, you were on the wrong stream. Was there another stream I had up? Anyways, we watched this hearing and it wasn't, it was behind closed doors, if you will. And then came these orders from the judge about Dateline. So let's go ahead and get right into it, because then we're going to get into Pappa Rodgers, all his messages. All right, so the first one is, the order is called Document and Records Hold Order. Based on the sensitive information not previously publicly circulated that was reported during a recent Dateline TV program related to this case and the defendant Bryan Kohberger, it appears likely that someone currently or formerly associated with law enforcement or the prosecution team violated this court's non-dissemination order. Such violations not only undermine the rule of law, potentially by persons charged with upholding it, but also significantly impede the ability to seat an impartial jury and will likely substantially increase the cost to be borne by the taxpayers of Latah County to prosecute this case by extending the time it will take to seat a jury and potentially requiring a lengthy period of jury sequestration. Oh my God, I can't even say that. Sequestration. That is a hard word to say. So in other words, it's going to cost the taxpayers more money, and more money, he says. So accordingly, the court finds it is imperative to attempt to see that the source of such leak is identified and held to account. He ain't playing. Hold on, it's me, Mike. We're going to get to that. There's two orders. What if Bryan leaked it himself? Sequestration. What if Bryan leaked it? Could he do that? And that doing so is the best deterrent for future violations. Accordingly, the court finds it appropriate to exercise its discretion by entering this order. It is hereby ordered that all persons who at any time, past or present, work directly or indirectly by employment, contract, consultation, or otherwise for or on behalf of any law enforcement or prosecution agency engaged in the investigation or prosecution of the murders that are subject of the instant case are hereby prohibited from deleting, discarding, overwriting, destroying, altering, or otherwise making unavailable whether electronic or in material form, records, files, documents, metadata, messages, emails, text messages, direct or private messages, phone logs, or logs of communications, regardless of whether made or kept on a work-owned or personal account, device, or messaging app that in any way relate to or document the fact or substance of communications with third persons, including representatives of the media or other persons or entities outside of law enforcement, which communications in any way relate to, refer to, or concern the investigation of Bryan Kohberger. The facts or allegations uncovered or reported to law enforcement concerning Bryan Kohberger or the investigation into the homicides that are the subject of the current or then potential criminal prosecution of Bryan Kohberger. All such documents or materials or records that could potentially constitute a document, even if it is uncertain whether such meet that criteria, shall be preserved and must be protected from deletion, altercation, or loss until further order of the court. Any feature on any device or account that is set to automatically delete or overwrite information that could be covered by this order and must immediately be disabled. It is further ordered that within, and he crossed out 14 days. He said, no, we're going to do this in 7. Within 7 days, the state shall submit to the court in camera, which means in the courtroom with the judge, a list of all individuals within law enforcement and prosecuting agencies, past or present, who are known to have had access to any facts related to the investigation of the defendant, including, but not limited to, surveillance videos of suspect vehicle 1, the AT&T records for the defendant's cell phone, and the content of the defendant's cell phone and other electronic devices and social media accounts, including internet search history, photographs, and information associated with the defendant's Amazon account, or any information referenced in the above-mentioned Dateline episode regarding this case. The state is further required to provide a copy of this order to all such individuals and document that it has done so. Failure to comply with this order may be a basis for a finding of contempt of court and such other civil and criminal consequences as may be appropriate. Within 7 days, the state must also provide to the court a written plan designed to address and prevent the future unauthorized disclosure of information related to this case and what it has done or proposes to do to identify any violations of the court's non-dissemination orders previously entered in this case and those responsible for such violations. So this was served upon all of the people on the prosecution team and the defense team. Then if we go back, there's the same thing. Order, document, and records hold order for the defense. So basically, the prosecution and the defense both got a copy of this. And it words for the defense here. So he's not saying it was the prosecution. But they both got a notice. So it could have come from either side. Now let me go to chat and see what you guys think. Do you think someone was paid? Blue says someone's in trouble. Yeah, big time. Does Dateline have to give up their source? That's a good question. Couldn't they figure out, Danielle, like, ask Dateline? That's a good point, Mike. The show was known about for days before it aired. Strange it wasn't stopped. Right. They put those trailers out. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, like, if we find out anything more about this. So let's go to Dateline because I checked this morning and Dateline still had the episode up because I thought if there's a legal issue, they might do like a legal takedown to Dateline. So let's go to Dateline NBC and see if it's still there. Yeah, it's still here. See? It'll allow me to watch it, but I wonder if it'll come down at any point. Christy G says, I also think that BK was inside looking. We haven't heard anything filed against Dateline yet. They don't have to legally. Doesn't the press have like a certain threshold? 911. Hey, happy Friday. Right, Dana. That's what I thought. Freedom of the press. So it could have gone through multiple people before getting to Dateline. So the judge wants to get to the initial leak. Shield laws, is that what they're called, Mr. Potato Head or Tomato Head? But there was a non-dissemination order. So not only did they leak, but there was a gag order. But we had the same thing in the Delphi, remember? They leaked crime scene photos. What if it was Bryan? Does Bryan have access to all of his discovery? Would he be able to do that? I know. The press can be ordered by the judge and held in contempt if they don't give up their source. Oh, Lisa, right? So they want to find out who the initial leak is. They're not really worried about who gave it necessarily to Dateline because it could have been someone else. I understand. They leaked the photos in Delphi in order to introduce the Odinism theory. He does as a defendant. Would he have hey, Mama Bear, would he have the capability to email that discovery to someone, though? Wouldn't he only have access to certain people via email? They leaked a lot, Liz. They leaked the contents of his phone, the pictures of the girls. They leaked that he was watching YouTube. They leaked video of his car going up and down the road and then leaving. They leaked sounds of the alleged murders. What else did they leak in that episode? We just went over it. What was it? There's more. The Korean girl. You don't think so, Mike? What else did they leak? What's up, Sue? Hey, Dana. It could be the prosecution leaking. What if it's Ashley Jennings? Bryan's communications with anyone other than lawyers is seen by jail staff. Yeah, his Google searches, the Ted Bundy, Ethan's injuries. Why would it be a leak on the defense's side, though? Let's talk about that. What would it benefit the defense? Oh, yeah. It was leaked that Bryan Googled No, I don't think that was in Dateline. Was it, Robat? That he Googled. I don't think that was in there. Was it? Ashley Jennings is on the prosecution side. Diana, I think it was Jennings. No, there won't be a mistrial. They just are going to have to like scrutinize the jurors even further, which is going to take more time and cost more money. So, will the trial even start on time is the question. So, their thing would be to get the death penalty removed or to get the trial delayed. It would benefit the defense by tainting the jury pool. Never heard of Dateline paying. I don't know. They didn't pay me. You think it was BK's sister, Green Eyed? Danielle says, I don't think it was the defense. Defense could argue to have the evidence removed from trial. He did Google his name. That's right. He Googled his name. Maybe defense is trying to force a mistrial. JLR said he was going to book his Airbnb yesterday, but he's holding off now. Yeah, it might be delayed. The jury selection might take twice as long. I don't think Steve has access to that evidence. I don't think he has access to like the tangible evidence. He may know about the evidence, but I don't think he has the contents of Kohberger's phone and stuff. Regina thinks it's a detective leak. Sky Blue? No, I've never dreamed about Bryan Kohberger. Have you? I'm interested. Yeah, I don't either, Flo. Yeah, I mean, who knows how long it'll be delayed now. I see more motions probably coming for this leak. Then we have an order on the May 15th hearing, which was behind closed doors, and that's it. But I mean, he's saying if you got shit that automatically deletes, like your text messages, like mine do, my text messages on my phone delete after 30 days. They're gone. Sky Blue, yes, I kissed him. You kissed him in your dream? Sounds kinky. I don't trust Anne and her helper. They seem shady. Who's Smiley McSmileson? And why is Jay Logston still on here? Why is Jay Logston on here? I thought he was gone. Let's do a poll. They see who you guys think leaked it. Jay Logston. I know he does. He looks very sketch. All right. So who leaked the evidence? State side, defense side, someone in the FBI? Or Kohberger? No, he can't do it. What's up, Nunya Business? I don't know. I'll just put other. What if, I guess she wouldn't have that stuff. The people in Latah, would the people in Latah have this? Or did they move all the evidence from Meghan Marshall, John Judge, that whole circus? Yeah, I don't trust her either. You were walking in a forest and holding hands and kiss. How sweet. Either FBI or Anne. Hey, Kathy Rutledge. Seems to me you guys are pretty, EB, that's really scary. Most of you think the defense side. Grady Judd. Anna's been doing everything in her power to remove the DP. Why not leak info while she's at it? Well, because it's illegal. I would love to see their demeanor yesterday when they talked about Dateline, like who was shitting their pants and who wasn't. Hey, Teresa. You know what I mean? They did this meeting behind closed doors. What about someone at the jail? Nick Jack says. Would they get their hands on all that evidence, though? Who would have that tangible evidence? Brett Payne? What would be his motive, though? Money? Yeah, I mean, they had his phone, access to what was on his phone. Hey, Gyps. You think one of BK's sister, though, has that data? Court workers? I mean, look at the lady in Murdaugh. She was arrested. Someone connected to. Maybe it was Jay Logsdon. But see, it even says in the order, too. Someone formally. Look. Anytime past or present worked directly or indirectly by employment, contract, consultation, or otherwise. Pretty crazy. I think he's going to get to the bottom of it, though. What if the university leaked it? Oh, I forgot about that book. Remember, the university was getting daily briefings on the murders in the beginning? Do you think they'll nail down who it was? Oh, I forgot about Vargas. Hey, Lindsay, we haven't really started anything yet. We just went over the Dateline stuff. Right. He can't make Dateline tell him. Well, I think it's all on a thumb drive, probably. Cyray had access to the phone data, maybe? Sarah says, follow the money. Yeah, what is his first name? Green? Cyray. Do we need to do another live on Cyray? Oh, God. You do think so, Robot? I hope they do. Do you think we'll know who the source is, though? Yeah, Explore Core. That's Cyray. Dateline repeated over and over that a source close to the investigation. So logically, who is considered close to the investigation? Lawyers and Ellie. See, that's what I hate. Avocado Toast says I don't think we'll ever know. I hope we do. Yeah, we can dig into Cyray another day. I'm a poet and didn't even know it. Because today, this is what we're going over. Pappa Rodgers. You guys all remember Pappa Rodgers popped up, if you will, in the Facebook group on this case and made a lot of weird posts. And we have them all wrapped up in this video for you guys today. So I am going to do this. Please hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. I am going to, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get me off the screen completely. Okay, here we go. I want you guys to be able to read these. And I want to give a shout out to Potato. For putting these together for me. When was this? We went through these a year ago. We put this together August 10th, 2023. God, almost 2 years ago now. I mean, that's a lot of data. They would have had to have like grabbed just the data that they leaked to Dateline. Because there's so many terabytes of data, they wouldn't have given them all of it, right? Is Tato here? Yeah, we've been on this. We did so many videos in the very beginning that I think before the trial, like as a refresher, I'm going to loop all the videos I played and just play them. I mean, could Bryan have gotten a thumb drive and directed someone to give it to someone? I don't know. So let's just. Oh, you think it wasn't one big dump they've been collecting? Yeah, because Dateline would have had to take a lot of time to get that rendition of the house made up for the show, right? Thanks, Dana. Hey, Lee Michelle. You did, Buck Cherry. That's funny. Okay, so the first one is December 1st, 2022. So we know that he went back to PA on like the 15th or whatever. They left 14th or 15th, him and his dad. So this would have been when he was still in at WSU. And this one says, of the evidence released, the murder weapon has been consistent as a large fixed blade knife. This leads me to believe they found the sheath. This evidence was released prior to autopsies. We had no idea that they found this. The first one is a huge, like, what the heck already. Because we didn't know until the probable cause came out that there was a sheath left, right? Can the state subpoena? I'm sure they could. Do you remember this account became active after his arrest? Yeah, everybody put on your tinfoil hats. And then this person says they haven't found the weapon. He says, exactly. Yeah, the dollhouse. Unusual perspective. They released that prior. That isn't Bryan. What? I don't understand what you're saying. All right, I'm just going to keep reading these. So December 29th was when the probable cause was written. And then I guess I'm just showing that the sheath was in the PCI. I heard today they found a sheath under one of the bodies. What if this really was him? Sure sounds like it to me. And then she says, right. And there is another post where he predicted where the murders happened. So this is like them realizing, oh my gosh, this guy that was in here was right. This is so creepy to read now. I remember reading his posts and thinking, what a weirdo prior to today. Ugh, makes me sick now. Do you think that could have been the feds, Daff? Sorry. And then this one down here says, I'm so freaked out right now. I believe the killer, and then killers, came from the high side of the house. They were covered in blood after the attack. This is December 1st as well. December 2nd. This is on the high side of the house. They found evidence here. It is likely blood dripping from the killers. Either way, they fled through this area or they were parked here. This being the most strategic entrance point to the house. It shows planning. And he shared the Fox Digital's picture. Hold on, let's see what that picture is of. So this is the parking lot of the apartments, correct? Behind the house, like where we suspect he could have been watching. It sounds like LE. Yeah, but Bryan Kohberger always wanted to be LE. He wanted to work with LE. This matches the narrative of, did you arrest anyone else? And how about him telling the arresting officer, you want to go get a cup of coffee? This one, how do you know they found evidence? 2, how do you know what that evidence is? 3, stop spreading rumors. You're not helping. Poop emoji. Did Bryan Kohberger have a confidant? Was it Catherine Ramslin, Mike? Oh my gosh. Do you think that they actually looked into this? Like if this was him, do you think that they actually subpoenaed these? I mean, would they use this? I feel like they wouldn't. I feel like we'd want them to, and we want to know if it was him, but I feel like they wouldn't even use it. Yeah, isn't that the girl that died, Ashley, Mike? Dustin says, I went to the courtroom yesterday for his pretrial. It was surreal to walk in at the same time he was escorted in. I didn't realize it was him on first take. Wow, you were there. I was wondering about the process of him coming in. I don't know why you're so sure it's not him. Unusual perspective. Who else would have a picture that looks just like him, but didn't know him? Is the male guy the one that, is it the one that passed away from a drug overdose? Because both his friends. There was a guy, a male friend, who died of drugs, and a female friend who died of drugs, allegedly. I did a video on that. Papa says there's no rumors here. Move along. This person says the problem being, assuming this is accurate, the dripping blood might not be the killer's blood. It might be blood from the victims. That would probably do very little to help identify the killer. And Papa says, yep. Facts or rumor? Just a rumor, I believe. Okay, there's a piece of evidence. There's an evidence marker right there behind the couch. So what did they find back there? They messed around in the forest with each other. BK complained about girls. Did the killers drive or walk to and from the scene? Thoughts? December 3rd. This is a good one. I thought he walked this whole time. Walked. walked most likely because a vehicle of any kind would have been noticed. Based on the evidence, this is where I believe Xana was found. Oh, dear God. There's that blood. The house is literally bleeding. And then we have a diagram. And now I would like to introduce you to a photo that I was sent of Xana's room. I can't remember who sent it to me now yesterday, but thank you, because I've never been able to find one. So I was extremely grateful to find this. So as you can see, this is Xana's room. This is Dylan and like some other girl. But that's the chair, the furry chair that allegedly he sat down in and left an imprint. And then we see there's also a black rug. Hey, Captain Ganja. And we don't know, like, because this house is so old, could the floor have slanted that way? I'm with you, Sky Blue, on that. It is weird, right? But this is the only picture of Xana's room that I've ever seen. So if she has a black rug and she bleeds out into it, what's that going to look like? Dateline said Ethan was on the bed. So I'm still a little confused on... Hi, Sherry, baby. I'm still a little confused on where the bed was. So was the bed next to where she was on the floor? With the carpet and black rug, maybe that's why Dylan didn't see the blood, that and terror. I don't know. I still am curious about their testimony and what they were thinking and doing. It could have camouflaged the blood easily. It's haunting, isn't it? And look, someone's sitting in that chair. Yes, it was a house they built upon, and they used very cheap materials and labor, obviously. It looks like the bedding is black, too. Well, I mean, that looks like the door to go out into that hallway, right? So if that door was wide open and you look down the hallway, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say by this angle, to be honest. But wait a second. Does that door have a lock on it? Did we ever find out if all the doors had individual locks? That unfortunately, it's too blurry. Up against the outer wall. Regardless of the rug, there was a splatter on the walls. Yes, from Ethan. What's up, Granny? Granny, do you want to come? Do you want a link? Do you want to come up and go through these? Bathroom door? Could she get to the bathroom from her room, though? I thought, if you look at this. Here, let me get rid of that. If you look at this layout, the bathroom doesn't, she only has one door to her room. The bathroom's separate. I do remember Xana's dad saying something about changing a lock or something. In the body cam from August, the noise complaint during the day, you can see the Elantra in the back parking lot watching. I thought I saw a white car back there, but you know what the thing is? There's so many damn white cars. There is so many white cars. Like it's the most popular color in the world. But I looked at all their photos. I looked in the background to see if there was any white cars, you know. Xana was having a problem with her door lock. Is that a built-in robe in the corner? Dylan said, yeah. All right, let me pull up the picture of them again and the room. So she's got a vanity and she's got this chair in front of the vanity. It looks like maybe a round rug. And that's the door. I mean, look at the layout. So the bed must be by Dylan's feet. Right? The bed must be by Dylan's feet. What's moving slowly? Xana's father changed the bedroom door lock. After seeing Bryan, I'm having a hard time believing he acted alone. Guy could have brought some meth prior. Meth for who? That picture is haunting. Yeah, it is. It's sad. Because that's probably Xana or something in the chair. Looks like a little closet to the left of the door. Could be. But I think that's her main door to get in and out of the room. I wonder if Ethan wasn't stabbed in the great saphenous vein as... I don't know. I think he acted alone. I definitely think it's possible. I think it's happened before, and unfortunately, it may just happen again. I mean, it's not unheard of. It's not the first time. It's not some kind of a miracle, if you will. In the body cam, the car is stopped and then moving slowly by while KG is talking to the cops. Did you also notice in that body cam during the day that they acted weird? They were like pointing up at the house and the cops were acting really strange. We're going to have to go back through the body cams in a whole nother video. But they said, according to blood spatter, they know that Ethan was unalived with one sweep with a knife to an artery. Okay, so he's got Xana here, which I kind of pictured her. Well, I mean, I guess that matches up with the foundation. But how would they have seen her legs around the bed if the bed was in the way? That's what I don't understand. Yeah, but green-eyed, how would she bleed out at the edge of the house if she was way over there by the vanity? Bryan went back that morning before Ellie got there. You think he was looking for the sheath? You think it was an artery in his groin, Noel says. I think in his photo he looks rugged out in the black hoodie pics from Dateline. That's one thing. He sat down on the chair and left an imprint, but we don't know of whose blood. Remember, no, sky blue. I think white will show up in night vision as white, right? I think it's Ethan's blood. Well, it certainly looks like blood on the outside wall. It looks bright red, and it doesn't look like rust to me. Maybe Ethan. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, then we have Pappa Rodger's actually circling it. But look how small that wall is. And the only window in Xana's room is in the front. Where that ladder is. See that ladder going up to that little ledge in the front? Yeah, night vision, things turn to black, gray, and white. In night vision, white is white, black is black. Orange, because it's lighter, will look white. Hey, DW. Was blood transferred from victim to victim? That I don't know, Dustin. Could he have been wiping off the blade of the knife on his butt? You thought it was copper? Yeah, but it's red because we actually looked at stains on the foundation in other places and in this neighborhood, and they do have those, but they look like rust. The ladder's always bothered you. Who did he send the selfies to? I don't know. Okay, so here he is. I know. Oh my gosh. Okay. This just proved it. I forgot he used fucking Google Trends. Excuse my language, but oh my God. Do you guys remember in the very first hearings, Bryan Kohberger's defense team brought to our attention Google Trends and how many times King Road was Googled, the victims were Googled, et cetera, but he was using it to show the like why they needed everything gagged and under seal because people were searching his name and stuff. But remember the Google Trends? Look at this shit. Here's Pappa Rodger sharing Google Trends of 1122 King Road. Look. He freaking shared Google Trends. Stop. Why the killer chose a knife as the weapon of choice on December 9th. Lots of good thoughts here. I also want to throw out that they are possibly unable to obtain a firearm. And then that person goes, Pappa Rodger, wow. So he's trying to make it sound like maybe it's a felon that can't get a gun. Did the killer stop at 4 victims out of exhaustion, convenience, or lack of knowledge? Seems like the type of question only the killer would have an answer to. Now we hear that he was possibly exhausted and sat down in the furry white chair. A little too coincidental, in my opinion. He says this entire board is assumptions. Nothing has been confirmed. He says these are just thoughts, not evidence. Pappa Rodger, you asked a question. Grace answered it. I'm asking for opinions. I stated the question wrong. He's so anal. Ooh, stay safe. Everybody hunker down in St. Louis. There is a tornado. Grace gave you her opinion. This is so like him, like the argumentative side, that he had to always be right. We really don't have any concept of what evidence they do or don't have. If the killer was brazen enough to shower in the house, he was comfortable in the house. Or Pappa Rodger. I think the killer cleaned the weapon, and that was it. What the hell? Was he in Maddie Mogen's bathroom when Xana ran upstairs? Was he in the bathroom? Perhaps we just don't. Wait, what did that say? Perhaps we just don't have any way of knowing yet. Why do we think the dog was spared? December the 9th. Because it was out of sight and out of mind in a room the perp didn't go in. Pappa Rodger, what room was it in? LEO didn't say specifically, just in a room not with the victims. The dog didn't pose a threat to the unsub and was just a happy wagging tail doggo, so he locked him up or the dog was downstairs. The dog can't talk, says someone else. Pappa Rodger says, a psychopath doesn't care. I don't think about that at all. He says, good for you. And then Pappa Rodger says, good for you. And then they say, Pappa Rodger, I think the dog is a non-factor. What do we think is the entrance point to the crime scene? Why did the killer choose that house over all others in the area? You're right, Diana. The PCA does mention that they pointed to a bathroom that was right next to Maddie Mogan's room. Absolutely. He did, Lindsay. Mm-hmm. Hold on, I'll ask him. What did he say? Said he'd think about it and let me know later. Yikes. Pappa Rodger. Low intellect. Potential reasons. House full of girls. House full of specific girls. Party house. Was familiar with layout. May have been kicked out. Location. Dark wooded coverage. Lack of camera. This is just some random post. Distance from his own house, apartment, car, if parked at his place of residence. Third floor windows. Hold on. Third floor windows, unobstructed view, lights on at night. Perfect for voyeuristic activities. He says, excellent. Party house. Okay, let's read this again then. House full of girls. House full of specific girls. Party house. Was familiar with layout. May have been kicked out. Location. Dark wooded coverage. Lack of cameras. Distance from his own house, apartment, car. If parked at his place of residence. The third floor windows. Unobstructed view. Lights on at night. Perfect for voyeuristic activities. He says excellent, like he's grading a paper. I did hear about running water too, you guys. I do remember that. Random killers will also target homes based on ease of escape routes, how far from the nearest neighbor, whether it appears neighbors are home, etc. Papa says, the escape route by vehicle here is very poor, yet they are focusing on a vehicle. Here he is again on the 9th. Google Trends show the search history for the house by date. Lots of Thursday activity. What do we think? Weird. Look at that. November 10th, 39 searches on 1122 King Road. Look at all of the searches. From August 1st, he searched till November 12th. He went from 8/1 to 11/12 and did Google Trends. This is showing how many people searched 1122 King Road. Interesting that the original poster chose the start date for this address with a month of August. He graduated June 22 from DeSales in PA and started fall semester at WSU for PhD. Lots of activity around second week of August. Wonder if that's when he came to know or meet the victims. Thoughts on body placement, December 9th. Oh boy, here he's got the Fox Digital pictures of the crime scene investigators in there. So this is where he puts Ethan in the living room. Do you guys remember this? That's true, Deb K. Oh God, that would be creepy, Core. If it came out, it was her. BK's B Day is 11/21, 1122 King. You were in that group, Vicky? Really? I was in those Facebook, those posts scared me so much I didn't chat. Yes, people were suspicious of Pappa Rodgers. Tater Tot can tell you. Or I mean, Vicky can tell you. No, it says living room, Ethan. He's got Ethan in the living room, Xana in the bedroom. And there's the blood pick again. Put it on, Ganj. They did spend a lot of time in the living room, the crime scene investigators. I noticed that. You felt like that way too? Can I kick it? I think we should give them the dignity they deserve and not theorize on where their bodies were. Here's Papa. This is a discussion of the case. You are participating by choice. Pappa Rodger, the 4 victims didn't participate by choice. You are one sick individual. Glad you are locked up. This is after, I guess. Does anyone else wonder how the blood ran down the base of the house? How does that happen? Pappa Rodgers, gravity. Pappa Rodger, I'm talking about the blood from the inside ending up on the outside of the house. I can't imagine being so bored I go into a discussion group being an ass to people for asking questions and discussing things. I've seen your name on a lot tonight. Wink face. There's a picture of what the kitchen looked like. That house was a mess that night. They had a party. But that is the kitchen. I feel like blood ran down a few places, but it has been suppressed. The kitchen was dripping blood, but they won't admit it. What do you guys think of that part? Dr. Mercado said it the other night, like it was a long time ago. Thanks. Oh. Did you guys know, though, that Dana Smithers in Pennsylvania, like a road over from where she went missing, is King and Queen Road? That's weird. Pappa Rodger, did you know this because you were there, Bryan? And then this lady says, I feel like it's him. These people say 100%. Pappa Rodger, creepy. Pappa Rodger, you're messed up. Only the killer would know that the kitchen was dripping blood. December 9th. I feel like the white car isn't relevant. Then issue an alert for a white car of incredible interest. Pappa Rodger, you are quite crazy. Are you okay? 4 weeks in and no suspects. What is the motive? This is Pappa Rodger. December 11th. This person says, personal vendetta. Papa says, no evidence. Pappa Rodger, we don't know what the evidence is. It's as good a guess as any other. Here's another post. My theory. Ex-boyfriend didn't want to lose the dog and was sick of the games Kaylee was playing. He killed everyone to isolate her, to potentially say something to her. Multiple people are covering for him and are under immense pressure. His alibi and the driver of the Elantra. Supposedly, he was at a friend's. Tara, that's wild. He says no evidence. Why was a knife the weapon of choice on the 12th? How long do we think the killer was in the house on the 12th? Do we think the killer took anything from the house on the 12th? This person says, do you? Papa says, I do. What do we think is the height and weight of the killer on the 13th? 5'1", 386 pounds. He says, okay. Pappa Rodger, just an odd question, so gave a nonsensical answer. Pappa Rodger, to answer seriously, male, between 5'6" and 6'3", maybe 165 to 235 pounds. In other words, could be a make of any weight or height. Papa, giant range. Pappa Rodger, yes. Height, weight have nothing to do with it, in my opinion. It's a male, in my opinion, but their height, weight doesn't matter. Have met some smaller dudes that are 5'6", 160 pounds soaking wet that could fight, wrestle a 6 foot, 220-pound guy and still whoop their ass. It matters if you are creating a profile of a very violent killer. Cops need to share info or we can play the guessing game. 6 foot tall, 350 pounds. Pappa Rodgers, you ask the weirdest questions. This doesn't even matter. Pappa Rodgers says, okay. I think you struck a nerve with your response. Someone put 3'2", 58 pounds. Is the killer still in Moscow, Idaho right now on the 13th of December? You don't think this is weird? Come on. Him and his dad left on what date, Diana? Dirty Diana. What date did him and his dad leave the state? I think so too. Can I kick it? What day did they leave? Is the killer still in Moscow, Idaho right now? Let's see. He's still in Moscow. He's comfortable there. This is a reply. He was comfortable to kill there. He got his targets. Now he wants to live without the targets. Why would he run? He's so psycho. He feels like he's won and no one knows. He will get caught, though, and someone will talk. And then he replies to himself and says, occupation of the killer, in your opinion? And then this person goes, no. I think someone very much in their presence, but not exactly in their inner circle. I just don't see him running. He's in plain sight, but yet discreet. I believe for a period of time to admire his work, but put himself around the investigation. If he's a student, then no. I do feel the killer lives in the area when school is in session. Former profiler Chris McDonough feels the killer was definitely familiar with the property. This lady brings up McDonough. I believe they are familiar, says Pappa Rodgers, but temporary to the area, like working a short-term construction project. This post says, y'all, do you remember the 4chan post in green that was made on December 12th? And this post was also made on December 12th. Here's the December 12th 4chan post that says, I'm hiding in the woods in shithole PA. Good luck catching me. Kind of coincidental, right? That this anonymous post on 4chan pops up and then Pappa Rodgers is asking if the killer is still in Moscow. Does that happen today, snowflakes? Yikes. 10? I thought the same thing. He was taunting. What does it say? I can't see half of it. It's horrific. The part exposed is what I'm talking about. Him hiding in PA. Pappa Rodger says on the 14th of December, the white car is a red herring. I don't think so, but why do you think so? Pappa Rodger, you talking to yourself? No to you. Pappa Rodger, so we're looking for a white sedan, which is the most common color and shape in the country. Tell me about your thoughts. This person goes, well, it's being common, maybe how it wound up in this mess, statistically speaking, but if law enforcement is using it as a misdirection, why? To what end? Do you think he could have been talking to himself in some of these? I think they left on like the 14th because they got pulled over on the 15th. And that was when Bryan Kohberger was shot. December 12th, they left. Wait, hold on. Okay, so this is about the car. Maybe to misdirect the nonsense, a filter, if you will. You can't post wild shit like this and not explain why with a cringe face. Pappa Rodgers goes, why is it so wild to say? And this guy goes, because law enforcement just love their tip lines being out of control for a red herring. They've got so much spare time to throw out red herrings. I roll till they get stuck in the back of my head. I'm slow. What's a red herring? He says smells like dead fish. He left on the 14th. Okay. I knew they got pulled over on the 15th. So this is the 14th that this post is from, by the way. Dude, you copied my post. Enjoy yourself, Jay Kells. And then in here it says University of Idaho murders, white Hyundai, red herring. I mean, Pappa Rodger says there are 500,000 posts. If you want credit, then okay. I've posted this several times. Wanting the credit for the red herring of the white car. Everyone keeps assuming that the white car is the suspects when all it says is they may have information. This guy goes right near the scene and speeding away. Pappa Rodger, were they speeding? Papa, the clerk who found the video of it, said it was. So she's talking about the gas station video. So was he speeding by there? Yeah, I wonder that too, Lindsay. Well, remember he texted his neighbor and said, Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Hold on a second, you guys. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. Thank you for waiting. Based on what evidence? Why would I have evidence of a theory? This is a discussion of the case. So is it a white Elantra or a red herring? And are herrings luxury cars? He says only in Russia. I don't get it, but possibly a pink snapper. And he says, or a white snapper. Okay, so let's assume that your red herring post is accurate for a minute. Ellie knows the extent of public interest in this case, which is worldwide at this time, and many people are under public scrutiny. So they send out a request looking for a common vehicle, knowing they are going to get tons and tons of calls on, and even Miss Karen over in California is going to call in about her neighbor who owns this car. So, okay. Never mind. I'm not even going to say what I think. They simply do not have the manpower or time to do this. Plus, they risk public safety. It's not a red herring. At its very least, it's a lead. At most, it's the suspect. That was weird to me too, Mike. Papa says these tips go to a call center. Wait. Press 1 for white car tip. And he puts a smiley face. Nope. Okay. No, it's a white car. Herrings are in the sea. Did that make you feel good? Hey, Danny. Could it be a white Ford Bronco? Only if the gloves don't fit. Which one was you, Kick It? This one? The herrings in the sea? Or the one that says nope. Oh my gosh. Four people are murdered and we get a white sedan? How very special, says Pappa Rodger. Pappa Rodger, you aren't owed anything. This has nothing to do with you. Main character syndrome. One knife and 4 people. The killer took a big risk. The knife could have easily broken off or become ineffective after 1 or 2 murders. Are we sure there's only one knife involved? Oh, the Karen in California. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I hope they found notes he took around these posts, all part of his little game. Just reading it, you can see he's trolling. Herrings gives me a taste for fish. Crazy cutie. It literally says in the documents it was the state who leaked the evidence. Well, if you go to the one that was issued to the defense, it reads the same way. So you're wrong. All right. This is the 14th, right? Him and his dad would have been on the road. You want some Captain D's? Captain Ganja? We don't know if he was actually after 4 people. Ethan didn't live there, so that could be a variable. Kaylee came back for the night, says this girl. Pappa Rodgers goes, yeah, but had recently lived there. Yes, but wasn't supposed to be there. In my opinion, Ethan and Xana, frat party gone wrong. Pappa Rodger, there are an endless number of witnesses if that is the case. Why is it taking so long? There has been talk about Ethan having a confrontation with someone at the party. Pappa Rodger. I've heard that, but that would be an easy path to solving this. Yet, here we are, 30 days later. It does, doesn't it, Teresa? Bing bong. Comment about the clerk who found the video of it, said it was. Then that weird laptop reflection video, and he mentions A&W something. I didn't even know about that gas station. Yeah. A AW gas station. I don't even know what that is. We don't have crosswalks in Pennsylvania. Crazy cutie. No, it's similar, not the same. I don't know what you're talking about. Actually, the order to the fence doesn't. I thought it was like a copy and paste, Tara. I apologize. I didn't read the whole second one. My bad. Yeah, I don't think it works for the defense, crazy. I don't. Yeah, Josco 1972, right? So here's Pappa Rodger. I've heard that, but it would be an easy path to solving this. Yet here we are 30 days later. Wrapping it up, I think. Pappa Rodger goes, wrapping up by trying to have half the nation look for a white sedan? No, that's not true. That's not true. They do have crosswalks. Kopaka was shot on December 15th. We never know what LE is actually looking for, do we? That's what this girl says back. Notice how no one is wondering where JS is anymore? Deflection. He says all of it is a deflection. I live in a suburb of New York City. Hunting is not really big around here, so I know nothing about knives. Is this style of knife a popular item for most hunters to have? She says yes. Papa says, I have friends and relatives who carry them on their person 24/7. Most avid hunters and fishers would carry a sheathed knife for their sport. Several also continue this past the sport. It would not be uncommon. December the 14th, 2022. If the door was left open or the heat wasn't on, are we sure of the timeline of deaths? It was 28 degrees and overcast the night of the murders. It was 28. So Pappa Rodgers is paying attention to the fucking weather and he was out stargazing. I think that's a killing knife. I don't think it's necessarily a hunting knife. Those knives were made to kill for killing knives. But let's think about this. If the door was left open, we know the door was, or the heat wasn't on, are we sure the timelines of death? So didn't we have an earlier timeline as well? Didn't they say the murders originally happened between 3 and 4? And then we found out they happened between like 4 and 4:20. I'm not sure why anyone needs to leak anything other than money. Follow the money. So if that door was left open though and Xana like went in the kitchen, she would have felt that door being open if it was 28 degrees. She would have immediately noticed that the door was left open. And he knows that he just said if the door was left open. He's not saying it definitely was though. That was wasn't that a BTK thing where he like turned the heat up or something? He says, "How long do you think?" He says 15 minutes. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area fourth time approximately 4:04. Can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning in front of 500 Queen Road, then driving back. And then it's seen departing the area of King Road at approximately 4:20 at a high rate of speed. No, he did not. He did not close the door when he left. He left it open. This is December the 14th still. How did the killer leave the scene? Did he clean up at all? Dude, we don't know. He says speculation. And then how did the killer leave the scene? Did he clean up at all? Look at there's the DeSales survey. How did you leave the scene before leaving? Is there anything else you did? Here he is, December 14th. Fight me. Ellie is no closer to solving this than they were 30 days ago? Question mark. They just said on the news he always wanted to fight, and this post says fight me. So creepy. And he's always asking for thoughts, just like his survey wanted thoughts and feelings. Pappa Rodger, December the 16th. Day 32 and no motive. Same as day 1. So motive just means a reason for doing something. There is a motive for getting out of bed in the morning. Obviously, the killer had a motive. We just don't know what their motive was. Pappa Rodger, my statement, day 32 and no motive. So what is the motive on day 32? Hey, Music City. There seems to be some disconnect here. The motive for what exactly on day 32? Why were 4 people murdered? What is the motive? The killer had their own motive, obviously, or it would not have occurred. We just don't know what their motive is. Anyone does has a motive. Pappa Rodger. But we don't have that. Do they? Day 32. If they know a motive, why isn't there a suspect? I can't believe you people. I should have done a poll before we went through these, and then a poll after to see if you change your mind. The killer most definitely had a motive. We, as the general public, just do not know what that motive is. Great, Pappa Rodger says. What is the motive? Day 32. We don't know a motive. What else you got? Pappa Rodger. But they don't have a suspect. But they know the motive? Pappa Rodger, how do you know they don't have a suspect? They do not always release that information to the public. Pappa Rodger, day 32. They have a suspect while also telling people to be vigilant? Question mark, question mark. Pappa Rodger, it's possible. Pappa Rodger says, I will agree. There is a chance of anything. This person goes, I don't know if they have a suspect or not, but I do know that sometimes in these cases when they do have a suspect, but not enough evidence to make an arrest, they don't point the finger at that person for them to take off and run. Pappa Rodger, you can't run from this. Pappa Rodger, not forever, but we had 8 members of one family murdered in their sleep all in the same night where I live. It took 2 years before arrests were made. Sometimes it takes time to get it right. Pappa Rodger says, right, so at day 32, what's the motive? Pappa Rodger, well, I'm not a killer, and I'm not law enforcement either, so therefore I do not have the answers for you. I really think at this point, we all need to understand and realize that Ellie knows so much more than we do, and there is a large reason they are not releasing hardly anything. Pappa Rodger says, therefore, They have us searching for the most common shape and color sedan in the Americas that the public knows of. The motive was to kill. Why was there a motive is the question. Pappa Rodger says, you think Ellie has a motive? December the 16th, 2022. The killer has a sexual dysfunction. Thoughts? It's possible. No way of knowing at this time, though. Right. This is a discussion. Why is this so hard for people to understand? And going off this post, it's definitely likely due to the nature of stabbing. Could point to impotence. Pappa Rodger says, I can't begin to have the mind of this killer, but it is so rare for someone to just kill for the thrill of killing. This girl goes, this was not a sexually motivated crime. This was a crime motivated by revenge and hatred at its extreme. Pappa Rodger says, why? I'm going by the usage of a knife up close and personal as opposed to using a gun. I think that anyone who would commit this type of crime using a knife especially has to have some deep-seated rage, committing this act in a fit of adrenaline. Pappa Rodgers, who is that motivated and hasn't been brought to justice in 32 days? Some get off on killing. I forget what it's called. But that's their, well, yeah, you get it. Pappa Rodgers goes, like? Like that is their sexual gratification. Pappa Rodger, I don't understand. This guy goes, bro, use Google. Yes, he also likes his steak medium. Pappa Rodger, is that your first thought? Pappa Rodger, in relation to your post about the killer's potential ED? Yes. Very special. Killer may, but it's not the cautious belly for this crime. Kohberger says, what is the motive? And this person goes, no, why? Remember this weird bear? Binky the bear or whatever from that Binky Bear account? Pappa Rodger, why? Remember this? Binky Bear? Pappa Rodger, why would he have sexual dysfunction? He was in a jealous rage. If he can't have her, no one can. Pappa Rodger, have a good night. This guy goes, you too. He's so focused on the motive, yeah. The date of the killing was chosen on purpose. Thoughts? This is also on December 16th. Any known internet suspect has been eliminated at this point. Fight me. The 16th of December. Now we fast forward to the 21st of December. So these are all in order. Day 37. Do we think LE has a motive yet? Welcome in, Liza. Hang on, I'm going to change the poll. I want to see how many of you guys think this is him. Let me throw up a poll really quick. I'm curious. I'll even give you a not sure. I know the fight me. Such a dork. That sounds delicious, Granny. All right, just let me know. Day one. This Binky Bear is saying yes. Pappa Rodger, what do you think the motive is? Remember, if he can't have her, no one can. Pappa says, who is that? I feel like he's talking to himself in these. JD, which is Jack DeCour, which is Kaylee's boyfriend. Pappa Rodger says, have a good night. You said that last time. What's your opinion? Pappa Rodger, in my opinion, you don't know who did it, and no one else does. This is all the 21st of December. What is your opinion on who did it? Pappa Rodger, if I knew who did it, I would tell L.E. Pappa Rodger, but you're allowed to have an opinion. Pappa says, you gave your opinion, and I gave mine. What else is there? Pappa Rodger, well, you didn't give an opinion on who did it. But I respect that. Good night. Pappa Rodger, I said I didn't know. Good night. Kaylee was the target. Verified info, says Binky Bear. Pappa Rodgers, post the verification. Pappa Rodger, so you concluded that she was the target based on the wounds? Could the knife be dull at that point? And that is why the tearing that was described? Binky Bear says, quite possibly. Pappa Rodger, December 21st. Ethan didn't live at the crime scene. Very possible the killer didn't know he was there. Thoughts? Have you seen the Google search trends info? Look at oh God, this is the picture of Kohberger with a bun. Oh, is Diana still here? This creeped me out. Look at that photo. It looks like Kohberger with a bun. It's so weird. And they're talking about Google search trends. Have you seen the Google search trends info? Don't know exactly what it's called, but you can see the frequency and volume of searches on Google as a trend line. There was a massive spike in early October, and also days before the murder of each of the victims' names. Ethan having the most Google searches. It's assumed that the killers were online stalking the victims, as Dylan and Bethany were hardly searched in comparison to the other four. It's the same person. Look at good night spelled good night. No, I don't think it's his sister. I think it's like a photoshopped photo. Like a combo of him and his sister. It's weird. BK Bun. K-Bar dulls fast, I hear, and he bought a sharpener. That picture creeps me out, man. Him and his Google trends. Pappa Rodgers answers Bun Kohberger. I posted it weeks ago. I posted that weeks ago. It has been removed now. This is just the address. I actually think Ethan was searched more than Kaylee because I have a whole video on it. We did this right after we saw these posts and we went into the Google Trends. Well, here comes Brian Bunn. Says, I'm assuming that the killer knew Ethan would be there and knew he had to attack him first as he'd put up the most fight. Pappa Rodger, why do you think that he put up the biggest fight? Where did you get that? Wow. He left on the 14th, Peaches. You would assume that Ethan put up the biggest fight because Ethan was a big dude, right? Yeah, Mike. Pappa Rodger, I never said he did put up the most fight. We really don't know anything about their defensive wounds besides Xana's dad confirming she had them. I'm just saying, I would personally assume he'd be the hardest one to take down, as he is tall and a man. No, the Google Trends was not just first names. It was their full names. Their full names. Pappa Rodger. Kaylee was searched 40 times and Maddie 39 times on November 12th. Bun Bryan says, I didn't know the amount of times. Do you know the exact amount for Xana and Ethan too? Someone said they were most likely searched most, at least Ethan, because he had a private Insta. Although it could be because he was either the main target, unlikely, or was the hardest to take down. December 21st, 2022. A knife is a very risky weapon if you know you are going to murder 4 people. Do we think the killer also had another weapon, such as a stun gun or another knife? Or did they not know what they would encounter? December 21st. This is in PA now. Interesting. I think all these questions he was asking were for his research. This is hindsight now. December 21st, 2022. Did the killer drive, walk, or some combination of both to the scene? We don't know. I think they walked home, then went to a car. I really don't know. Just speculating. I believe the killer lived alone. Just speculating. Pappa Rodger, the killer lived alone. Oh, Marjorie, come on. Stop it. Are you serious? For what? What's the motive? That's weird. Pappa Rodger, we don't know that for sure, but I believe it. Agree. What prompts you to think that? We, the public, know nothing about this individual. A psychopath stays away from longer relationships. They would be someone who struggled with female relationships, but also doesn't like many people enough to avoid getting close to people. They would not tolerate a roommate. And Pappa Rodgers, and yet there are murderers that have a wife and children or live with parents. You can't state for a fact that this is actually a fact because you really don't know. This is eliminating a whole host of possibilities. Pappa Rodgers. I didn't state any facts. I state my opinion. And then Binky Bear says walk. He says, how far? Initially, I would have said walk until this whole Elantra thing and no one coming forward. He had to have been in that car. Scranton Strangler? Why? No evidence to determine that. Author, or Pappa Rodger, determine what? Pappa Rodger, determine if they walked or drove away. December 22nd. Regardless of what has been released, I believe this is a sexually motivated crime. I feel like he is sometimes. Ganja. I honestly believe that if that were the case, there would have been proof of a SA on one or more of the victims. The autopsy showed none of them were SA'd. Pappa Rodger, they can release whatever information they want to. Why do you think that? He says motive. Why on earth would the police state otherwise if there was truly a sexually motivated crime? This was out and out murder. He says police never stated a motive. Pappa Rodger, December 22nd. I know this won't be popular, but this is where I think the victims were found. There's Kaylee and Maddie in Maddie's room, or in Kaylee's room. He's got them in the wrong room here. And then he's got Xana and Ethan in the wrong room. KG, which is Kaylee and Maddie, were in the opposite room. MM's room. He says proof. He wants proof. Why would he put the bodies in the wrong spot? You know what I mean? Oh, Mike, that was so creepy. That poor girl. Think for yourself what, make things up and believe them, Marjorie? I believe Kohberger was part of the mastermind plan. You have no idea what this is really about, do you? What's it really about? Pappa Rodger, no proof, but you don't either. Kaylee's dad stated they were found in Maddie's bedroom, though. Papa, where do you see he said that? Papa, you can find his interviews online. Papa says post them. Pappa Rodger, I would have to go search, which you can do, if you'd like to update your diagram. If not, be wrong. Papa says, I am not wrong. Pappa Rodger, it only says same room, and then he shares the video of Ethan's parents. Papa, this is Ethan's family. Kaylee's family gave an interview and said girls were both in Maddie's room, and he had been shown photos of his daughter's room, and the bed was untouched. Papa says, post that evidence. Kaylee's bed was not slept in. That evidence, says Pappa Rodger. Confirmed by Kaylee's dad. They were 100% were not in Kaylee's room. She goes, I know. I'm just not planning on doing the mental gymnastics for Smuggy here to continue being obtuse. Post that evidence. Barbara, or whoever this is, says, SG said it in the first vigil for all the victims. He said that K and M were inseparable in life and death, being in the same room, the same bed when they passed. Papa, did they say which room? No. Papa, 52 minutes later, and you still haven't posted a shred of evidence, dolt. Pappa Rodger, fuck off, bud. I told you I wasn't digging for you. You're the only dolt on this thread. Pappa Rodger goes, poster child. Beat it, dumbass. Pappa Rodger, you shouldn't let your emotions control you. This girl goes, Ethan was found in the same room as Xana. In an interview with his parents, it was mentioned. The mom said, quote, they both died in the same room. Papa goes, proof? Well, you got 1 out of 4 correct. He says, proof? Based on the statements by the families, they would know. Show me where that has been confirmed. Which room, says Papa. Yeah, dolt is like a dork. Ethan was in the room with Xana. He says, proof? Papa, have you got any? Papa says, I gave my opinion. You didn't state it that way. Pappa Rodger, I'm trying to find the link to the interview. You can Google it yourself. Papa, no one has said. Papa, opinion or LE facts? Because we're going off facts. Papa says, show me the facts then. Show me where they have said body positions. You think so, Blue? Pappa Rodger? Wait. Pappa Rodger, LE haven't stated the position of the bodies. They've stated the locations and rooms. Pappa Rodger says, then post that evidence. Dude, just Google for yourself and put yourself out of your misery. None of us care for your wrong opinion when we know the facts, LOL. Papa says, it doesn't exist. Pappa Rodger, the mother said they were in the same room. Are you calling his mother a liar? Pappa Rodger, she did not. She's only said same room. Pappa Rodger, okay, have at it. Speculate away. And then this girl goes, Brandy, damn girl. He told you good night, be safe. That's got to spook the hell out of you. Here's Papa. Good night, be safe. He says, Ethan and Xana were not. Not sure what you mean. She says, Pappa Rodger, I give up. You don't listen to facts and telling everyone proof. Papa, you should give up because you haven't done a thing. She says, Pappa Rodger, in English, please. Blah, 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 says Pappa Rodger. You must be bored. Have a good night. He says, you seem to stalk me. I kind of like it. Ooh, that's really creepy. Pappa Rodger, you seem to stalk me. I kind of like it. Does that give you chills? Look at all the... LE have said where they were found. So I ask you where your proof is. He says, show me where LE said they were found. Pappa Rodger, Google it yourself, LOL. Pappa Rodger, you can't provide what doesn't exist. Then she shares the Independent article. Look at Mabut. The victims were stabbed to death in their beds and likely were asleep, Kathy Mabut said. She saw lots of blood on the wall when she arrived on the scene. And then she says USA Today. He says yawn. Proof? That is my opinion if you read. Pappa Rodger's proof? Pappa Rodger says proof. Pappa Rodger, why do you keep saying proof? Why can't you do your own research? This post was discussed weeks ago. There's an interview with the parents making it clear E and X were in the same room. It was also mentioned by Kay's dad that they were found in M's room in several interviews. Hey, Crimson. Pappa Rodger says, I gave my opinion. You stated something as fact that has not been confirmed. Then you said you have video evidence. Post it then. Then they post that. Doesn't say a thing about rooms, says Pappa Rodger. Then she gives him a timestamp, 10:04. He says they say, quote, same room. He can't even use Google, LOL. The proof is there. Pappa Rodger says, post the evidence. It doesn't exist. Exactly. He clearly hasn't been following the case like the rest of us. Pappa Rodger says, you are a good laugh. Show your proof because clearly you haven't been following the case. He says, why is proof so hard for you? Help me help you. Oh, God. Help me help you. Hey, SS. Robin, welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. If you're just joining. Why is proof so hard for you? Help me help you. You haven't been following the case. You're asking everyone for proof to use Google. Pappa Rodger, you don't know. Be safe. Pappa Rodger, I've been following this case unlike you. I'm not every single person who comments to show proof. When there's a thing, I call Google to find your proof. Papa says, maybe you should consider post-secondary education. Papa Rodgers says, or she says to Papa Rodgers, I've been following this case and you haven't, and it shows. Papa Rodgers says, okay, hero. Papa Rodger, you're the one whose post is being corrected. Papa Rodgers says, do you have emotional issues? Papa Rodgers, just stop. You're being corrected in your post. Papa Rodgers says again, do you have emotional issues? If Ethan was in the hall, that would explain the 911 call on someone being unconscious. However, how was there no blood? Papa Rodger, how do you know there was no blood? No way. If he was in the hall, those two surviving roommates didn't see blood. No way. Papa Rodgers says, how do you know they didn't? Well, the police who responded seemed to know differently per their recent press release. Papa Rodgers says, post the link. Thanks, Teresa. It was on News Nation with Bryan. He explained where Maddie's room was, and it was the one without the slider. Kay's dad said they were in Maddie's room because Kaylee's bed was still made. Papa Rodger, no, it wasn't. He is insufferable. There's Kaylee's room and her bed. It's been confirmed by Kaylee's dad that Maddie and Kaylee were sleeping in the same bed in Maddie's room. Papa Rodger, no, it hasn't. Papa Rodger, yes, it has. Kaylee's dad confirmed it at the vigil. Papa Rodger says, nope. Next. Ethan and Xana were found in the same room. Papa Rodger, post LE saying that. Papa Rodger, I believe LE. Papa Rodger says, post them saying that. Yawn. Papa Rodger, what makes you think bodies were found there? Papa Rodger, what makes you say that? I'm curious to know what you think. I'm not saying you're wrong, so chill and stop being defensive. It's been confirmed via Kaylee's dad at the vigil that Kaylee and Maddie were found in Maddie's room. Papa Rodger says, post the evidence. LOL. Fight me, Punani. Fight me, my Punani. I got to get out the Kohberger rap coming up for the trial. He puts a big LOL. Papa Rodger, the dad saying that is the evidence. Papa Rodger says, fun. Papa Rodger, but he didn't say it. Post it if he did, fun person. Papa Rodger, Kaylee's dad is the proof. Papa Rodger says, post it. That is a very simpleton thing. Kaylee and Maddie were found in Maddie's room. Kaylee's dad has confirmed that. Papa Rodger says, post that evidence. Kaylee's dad has confirmed that at the vigil. Clearly, you haven't been following the case. He says, post that. Papa Rodgers, you have been following the case very well, so find the proof yourself. Papa Rodger, you don't have the proof. Next. You haven't been following the case. You're the one who has no proof. Papa Rodger says, you are special. Papa Rodger says, post evidence or you are just another fun person. Hey, Tato. Obviously thinking is not your style. Papa Rodger says, you don't matter. Who thinks that the thesaurus is a dinosaur? Papa Rodger says, ironic. Papa Rodger. Or wait, for crying out loud, that is rust dripping on the foundation. The blood theory was debunked in a matter of days. Stop posting it. Papa Rodger says, prove it. Papa Rodger says again, I didn't think you could. No, you are just plain wrong. Can someone post actual evidence showing where the bodies were found? December 22nd. Then here we have what, a Reddit post? Hold on. Let me pause up. Brian Enton confirms that Kaylee and Maddie were found in Maddie's room. He says, no evidence there. Pappa Rodger, it's been confirmed by the families. You got it wrong. It's okay. You can redo your collage. Use your crayons and draw the girls in the other room. Pappa Rodger, no, it hasn't. Dolt. Interesting flow. 6 days before arrest. Pappa Rodger, do you think this is a serial killer or a local? Do you think the date was important? Pappa Rodger, nope. Unknown. Nope, unknown. December 22nd, 2022. The killer is not a student. Thoughts? December 22nd, day 39. The killer is not in the victim's immediate circle. Did they say this in today's news release? Pappa Rodger says, no. 100% of what we say is speculation and simply for discussion. Oh, okay. It was phrased as a fact. Sorry. Pappa Rodger says the only facts are provided by LE. Says who? Pappa Rodger says my opinion. Okay, Pops. Pappa Rodger says, Papa to you. Well, obviously, why do you think that is obvious? Says Pappa Rodger. She says, proof? He says, my opinion. Someone posted on TikTok how they spotted the white car in the background of multiple Instagram pictures of the girls. Not immediate circle, but maybe someone associated in some way or form? Pappa Rodger says, the most common shape and color sedan in all of the Americas. Someone says, how about the immediate triangle? He says, a triangle has corners. Killer is within it. This stuff about serial killers, random peeping Tom turned killer, no. Truth is close to that Greek circle. Pappa Rodger, why do you think that? Pappa Rodgers, well, it takes confidence to kill, first off, and control, planning, watching, observing, and then complete the act. This wasn't random. The killer maybe wore dark clothes to blend the dark. Ski mask? Ever seen the Scream movies? Pappa Rodger, I'm not debating you. Just asking. What? Ask, dude, what? And I will answer? Pappa Rodger, why do you think fraternity circle? So nothing serious to say? Pappa Rodgers answers, what do you want? Pappa Rodgers, Merry Christmas. Pappa Rodger, Merry Christmas. Pappa Rodger, Happy Holidays, dude. At one point, Pappa Rodgers got into an argument about the murders with another Facebook user who asked, why do you communicate like a serial killer? Explaining the decision to later remove Pappa Rodger from the Facebook page, Cameron said, Pappa Rodgers was never a mod or an admin in this group. He was on here and argued incessantly with people and said some really creepy stuff and posted similar questions to Brian's crime questions. She added, we removed Pappa Rodgers at 7:10 the evening before Brian's arrest. He created a group page and had 6 people in it. No one has heard from Pappa Rodgers since the arrest. Sounds like a talk circle with himself. Kind of does, doesn't it? Now, this post says, yes, a week ago, but he was active yesterday in the group he created regarding this case. However, he's been dead silent since the arrest. So he went ahead and created his own group. So they should be able to tell who it is. Core, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you guys think this was him? 59% of you, you're pretty much split. Then this person asked, what group did he create? What? This is crazy. What is the group he started? Idaho 4K's discussion group. Thanks. It looks like Papa is in Bryan since he's been actively posting on that group. He hasn't posted in there since 1 day ago, was arrested yesterday. He hasn't posted since the arrest, so he still could be. Also, Pappa Rodger is an admin on another Idaho Facebook group. The last activity on there is 12/29/2022. He was arrested early morning of 12:30. Account which made posts reactivated. So this is when this was opened back up. This wasn't a clone. This was actually the original account opened back up. Yeah, Cora, I don't know what you're talking about. Those weren't just his opinions. He was creeping people out. Yeah, they do have warrants for Meta. I know you did a good job, Potato. So there it is. You did a great job with this, Potato. It had to be. Look at, and then the account was deactivated again. Oh, there's the fake Pappa. There's the fake Pappa Rodgers. Look at this. I will accept friend requests. That's the fake one. And who's going to have a profile picture that looks so much like him? Right, I understand it's not him, but it certainly looks like he could have morphed his picture with another picture, if you will. I'm just not sold that it wasn't him. Nikki, you're talking about the Josco 1972. Yeah, we just showed it. There was a fake account made. Watch the ending again. See the fake one? Only followed by one person. So, yeah. It does seem like a merged pic to me. You guys want the link? Hold on. Hold on a second. This is the look at we did this a year ago. That's crazy. And then the posting just stops, right? There's the video to this. Well, someone just cloned it. That's all. You can tell by the amount of followers and that the original Pappa Rodgers was gone. You know what I mean? Yeah. What was the other thing you guys were asking about that you wanted me to show you? There was something else that came up. Sarah. Right. She is Sarah. Oh, the evidence. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. The state's evidence. I know I have a video on it. Where I laid it all out there. Creepy evidence found in Bryan's room. Here's one. Okay, let's save that. Save to watch later. And then I know I have another one. Oh, here's this about the Reddit survey. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can't find it. Hold on a second, guys. I can't. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, fuck. A lot going on here in the background. Search warrant. I wasn't prepared to show all of this, but here, 2 years ago. Here we go. Let's see what we've got. Let's see what this is. Okay, so that's the search warrant. That's not what they got. Oh, we went through the police blotters. We went through shoes. We watched the police advisory meetings. So, yeah, we watched that shit. That's not the right one. I have so many damn videos, you guys. Search warrant and discussion. Oh, here we go. Warrants unsealed. Found it. Here we go. Okay. I got to take care of something. I'm going to let this play. Do you guys want it a little faster? Is it good how it is? This is going to be going through the remaining PA warrants. So this is going to be PA warrants. Let me know if it's fast enough. You want me to put it up a notch. I know. I'm going to fast forward to the good parts. Here we go. This is where it says knife, guys. This is exactly what we were talking about. This is exactly what we were talking about earlier. Pay attention. Mm. I'm sorry. I've got to cut in here with Live J. I think that could be Catherine Ramsland's book, one of her books. Stand by for more. Okay, another pause. This is me live. Why would they be specific about the Smith & Wesson pocket knife and the Taylor knife, but the number one, they just put knife? Oh my God. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? What is going on? Can you guys hear me? The video was muted. I am so freaking sorry. Was it muted that whole time? Fuck. Was it muted the whole time? I hit the wrong mute button. I got all discombobulated over here. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Did you hear any of it? Okay, here we go. You heard green leafy substance. How'd you hear that if there was no sound? Did you hear the part about the knife? Oh, you were just reading? That is weird. That is effing weird. Okay. Description number 13464 on 12/30/2022. 119 Lambsden Drive, Albrightsville, Pennsylvania 18210. Description. Oh, they got a knife. Description number 1, knife. It doesn't say what kind of knife, you guys. It just says a knife. Oh, God. Number 2, book with underlining on page 118. Number 3, AT&T bill for Bryan C. Kohberger. 4, Glock 22 Gen 5 40 caliber with a serial number BMKVSQI. Smith & Wesson pocket knife. Folder containing vehicle paperwork. Acer laptop, model number N22C2, with the serial number listed as well. This is in the vehicle, apparently. All these things were collected and seized. Green leafy substance in green container. What do we think that would be? Leaf lover Liz. What do you think that is? Number 9, documents. Number 10, green leafy substance in plastic bag. 11, white paper with, what does that say? White paper with, I can't read that. Number 12, power cable. Number 13, cell phone. There's your cell phone. 3 Glock 40 caliber magazines. Empty. Books. Black something masks. Prescription. Black gloves. 1 black hat and 1 black mask. Oh, white paper with password? I don't think that says password. White paper. What the hell does that say? Does it say password? Book with underlining on page 118. So I wonder what book he underlined on page 118. It does. You guys say it's password? Okay, awesome. AT&T bill for Bryan. And we know that he started his AT&T thing, his account in June. I think it was June 23rd of 2022. Glock 22, a Smith & Wesson pocket knife. I wonder why they were so specific about the Smith & Wesson pocket knife, but not the number 1 knife. But yes, 2 knives, folder containing vehicle paperwork, which he probably had in there for when he, he just got the plate. Oh, yeah, I can scroll. What do you mean scroll down? What do you mean? To what? I just wanted to see what that word was. I'll make it smaller for you guys. Is that better? Okay. Keep going. Then we have the paperwork. We have the Acer laptop, green leafy substance in a container. Documents, green leafy substance in a plastic bag. White paper with password. Power cable, cell phone, 3 Glock 40 caliber magazines that are empty. What does that mean? What does that mean that they're empty? I don't know anything about guns. I'm going to admit that right now. Books, black something masks, prescription, black gloves, 1 black hat, and 1 black mask. I know it means there's no bullets in it, right? Is that... Why would he have a gun with no bullets? Oh, shit. We've got more. Okay. All right. This is page 2. Number 20. Personal identifying documents. New Balance shoes. New Balance? So we've got Nikes and New Balance, but we've got Vans written in the PCA. This is really hard for me to read, you guys. Hold on. Personal identifying documents, New Balance shoes, dark colored jacket, dark jacket, dark something. I can't even read that. Another jacket, shirt, dark colored shirt, dark colored shirt, dark colored shirt, dark colored pants, dark colored pants, number 25, clear something glove. One Asus laptop with damage. Is that what that says? With damage? Did they get lazy when they wrote? Damn. One, I can't even read line 27. Can you guys read 27? Clear plastic glove. And then under that is one Asus laptop with something. Lala says, I am so convinced they're playing games. What do you mean? Yeah, I can't read 27. Something, is that say with damage? One something with damage. 28 is, I have no idea. Record of sale for the Glock. Okay, so they have a receipt for him buying the Glock. And then underneath that, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. You guys have like super eyes if you can read this. Oh, I see. Okay. One item. I don't know. Photographer. Burner taker. Like, what the hell is 29? $30 note in desk. Criminal psychology book. Dowmans and
it's documents. Okay, this is me live. Thank you for suffering.
Something universe.
Thank you for suffering through that. So 31 says, or 30 says note in desk. 31 says criminal psychology book, which might be with Ramsland. And 32 says documents and DeSales University notebook. All right, so let's fast forward here because this was the first time I saw any of this. So here's the second one, second page. Let's go back where this one starts.
So they probably arrested Bryan, got him in custody. His dad signed it.
So remember we heard too on Dateline that, or was it Dateline? Was it Dateline or was it Steve Gonsalves? I can't remember now. But didn't we hear that Bryan Kohberger's family were zip tied? Item photographed but not taken, number 29. I wonder what that was. What would be photographed but not taken with?
Because his dad was at the house. I think that's the deal. Okay, so number 33 is extra large Columbia Navy fleece.
Okay, I'm going to step in here. 34 is a man's mind drawing, which is the thing I showed the other day where it's like a Freud thing, where it's like, looks like a man with a beard, but then it looks like a woman laying across his face and the bush is the mustache. You know what I'm talking about, right?
34. You guys are going to have to help me. Thing in drawing, guys, to decipher. Because I'm having a hard. A man's hand drawn world blank inside glove and drawing.
Okay, so 35 is ID cards, inside glove, inside box, various criminology books,
note, license, and card. Various criminology books. Notes, license, and card. Dark colored hats, black glove. Seagrave Barracuda 1 terabyte Samsung solid state drive. Black box Samsung NVMe SSO 960EM box with Intel Optune in box or something. 2 pairs of black gloves, 1 black knit hat. Dark green short sleeve shirt, black long sleeve shirt, black sweatshirt, gray jacket. 2 pairs of black pants, 1 pair black jeans, 2 pairs of black jeans. 2 black long sleeve shirts, 2 pants, 2 pair of black pants, 1 gray jacket, 1 gray knit felt hat, and 1 black glove. A motherboard, a Washington State University paperwork. That's probably his write-up. He was written up. The picture is used in all psychology classes. Well, it's notable that they collected that. Let's see. Note from Bryan from Montana. That's always been a perplexing one. Right. The IDs were inside a glove, inside a box. Note from Bryan from Montana. I feel like Bryan was in Montana. Why would they photograph something but not take it? Good question. Craftsman shop vac, medical documents, probably from when he went to the doctor after the murders. Remember that? And court documents. And you can see Michael Kohberger signed it. Is Montana a state or a girl? I never heard of a girl named Montana. Note from Bryan from Montana. That wouldn't even make sense. Would it be from Bryan or from Montana? That wouldn't even make sense if Montana was a girl. Note from Bryan from Montana. Like he was in Montana. I don't know. That's how I take it. All right, let's see. Is there another page to this? Let's skip forward. Yes, there is. Note to Dad from Bryan. Number 50. Note to Dad from Bryan.
Pullman, too. IdeaPad laptop and password.
Dark colored clothes, HP all-in-one computer. And then now we're on the Lenovo. We're on number 54. Actually, number 55.
Tangent.
Model, medallion. I can't even play my old thing. 56. Dark clothes and laundry basket. 57. Tailor cutlery knife with leather sheath. There's the specific knife as 57. So we have number 1 being a knife, not labeled with a brand or type. Then we have a Smith & Wesson knife named. And then we have 57 is the Tailor cutlery knife with a leather sheath. So what's number 1? That's what I want to know. Then we have 4 swabs of DNA, 2 pair of dark colored boots, and 1 pair of brown boots. And that's it. That is from Pennsylvania. And then here's the Elantra.
Shovel, king boots, comfort in room keyhole.
Okay, this is wild. Here we go.
Again, we have Trooper Justin Leary and Trooper Brian Knoll.
This is for the car now. And this says that they seized the white Hyundai Elantra. This Hyundai Elantra. Okay. Swabs, Ziploc bag with pink zipper. 7
Because they're swabbing, right, for DNA. So swabs.
quarters. Plastic baggie with green zipper. 36 dimes. 32 nickels. 8 pennies. Gloves. Hey, welcome to the fan, Doc.
Doc.
Gloves, receipts,
Who was I talking to? Who's Doc?
insurance card, car registration, hiking boots, comfort in room key holder, and stay information. I thought the other one was in the car. We're going to have to go back. Let's read through this and then we're going to go back. I'm confused. Let's finish this one and then we'll go back to the other one. Car registration, hiking boots, comfort in room key holder and stay information, tire irons, shovel, goggles. The fuck was this dude doing? Floor mats, reflective vest, used water bottles, wrench, door panel, seats and seat cushions. They took all this shit out. Headrests, seat belt, visor, fiber, brake pedal, gas pedal, holy, phone charger, Band-Aid, wrappers, maps, documents, seat belt boot. Everything he would have touched. So the guns were in the house. Wow. Jill Pill, I think he was out in that area of Johnson, Idaho.
He was.
With the shovel, right?
I think he was.
All right, so let's go through this again. They have gutted the 2015 Hyundai Elantra, and they swabbed it. They have a Ziploc bag with pink zipper, 7 quarters, plastic baggie with green zipper. Wonder what was in those. Why would he have zippered bags?
We don't know, Robat, if they found any blood on any of that evidence. We have no idea. No idea. Why did him and his dad take a detour? Good question.
Gloves, receipts, which God knows what the receipts are for, right? It could be anything. Car insurance card, car registration, hiking boots, comfort in room key holder, and stay information. So they stayed at a Comfort Inn probably on the way back. Tire irons, shovel, goggles. Goggles. God, that makes me feel sick. Like goggles. When I think of someone being murdered and I think of someone wearing goggles. Doctor 3 probably had sandwiches at some point. Floor mats, reflective vest. Why would Kohberger have a reflective vest?
Devo, love your hat, dude.
Oh yeah, the shovel.
I love it.
Let's see. Used water bottles, wrench, door panel, seats and seat cushions, headrest, seat belt.
Okay, let's move on to the next
In their
one.
house. So what was in their house was a knife.
So there's the knife again. The number one that we don't know. We don't know if they were like night vision goggles or protective goggles. Hello, Maize and Blue. He was using the survey to gather as much info. Yeah, and then don't forget about Steve Gonsalves. Were they night vision, though? That's what I don't know. Check this out.
This is about the survey.
Yeah, we got a letter and it had a phone number in there, and we called this individual, and he said he had been interviewed by Bryan, and he got the sense that Bryan was getting off on his story, and his story was basically he'd listen to a police scanner, wait for somebody to call the police on a domestic violence type thing, and then the male would be arrested, and then he would go into those neighborhoods, and that would be the house that he would rob. So he said that Bryan seemed to enjoy his story, and he said that he had some kind of he felt like he started enjoying certain aspects of his story where he would talk about drunk females passed out, and he basically said I could have done anything. I was just going for jewelry, going for money, going for whatever he was. But Bryan would call him back repeatedly and want to know more details on that story.
I find that really, really interesting that did they cut that part out, Granny? They did that to me. Listen, Granny, they did that. I actually disputed it and said I was using it for the reason of talking about the Idaho four murders. I just said I was using commentary and they released it. So just dispute it. What if he wore a face shield? That's why DM thought fireman. So what was in their house was a knife. Okay, we went through that. Let's Samsung. This is the Taylor cutlery. There's here. Yeah, I wish you would have said something because you could have disputed because they did release it for me, which was actually quite surprising. This thing is like special forces or some shit. Hold on. Doesn't fold. Cutlery knife with leather sheath. So that's the Taylor cutlery knife. I know, but it's those bots. They have like content ID bots that pick that shit up. But then if you actually do commentary and you ask them to release it, apparently they will. So that's pretty cool to know. This is for future reference. This is a Taylor knife, Special Forces edition with a leather sheath. Let me tell you, get into the dog because this dog, the mother said, yeah, and he always wanted to be in the military. The mother of the dog said that he was skinned like someone wanted to eat him. Filleted, if you will. Buddy the dog. This is for Granny. Buddy the dog, Idaho. Let's see what we can pull up here. Who killed Buddy? Give me 2 seconds. Let me see if I've got any more evidence in here before we move on from this. Oh, God. This is all about Shannon Gray and Judge Marshall. Remember all of that? And the gag order was into play. Okay, hang on. Buddy the dog. All right, here we go. New York Post. We'll share this one. Of course, this didn't make the New York Post until after the murders, but okay. He was a runner, and there's, bless his heart, there's little Buddy. There's little Buddy. Let's play the video, and then we'll read through the article if we need to. Actually, I think it's just oh no, it is a whole fucking article. Okay. Let's see the video first, and then we'll
You could find the one today. This could be it. Better put a key ring on it.
Realtor.com. Oh, it's one of these. I mute that shit. That's the couple. Pam and Jim Colbert, 12-year-old mini Australian Shepherd, was left with fur on only his legs and face. There's the owner. Pam told the Daily Mail it was like a deer that someone had hunted. Local police have confirmed that the dog's killer was human. And that's all we know, basically. But let's read through this article. Poor baby. Freaking monster. Whoever did that is a monster. A couple's dog was killed and skinned just 3 miles away from where the 4 University of Idaho students were brutally slaughtered in their home, leading locals to fear a connection between the 2 attacks. Buddy, a 12-year-old mini Australian Shepherd belonging to Pam and Jim Colbert, was left with fur only on his face and legs when he was killed after they let him out of their Moscow home on October 21st. It was like a deer that someone had hunted, Pam, 78, told the news outlet. Can you imagine this poor 70-year-old, 8-year-old woman and her dog? Ugh. Makes me sick. She said, quote, they cut him around the neck and just skinned him. His little legs had fur and his little face had fur, but the rest of him was just skinned, she said. The other side of him was as though they had filleted him like they were about to eat him. It was terrible. Unbelievable. Pam told the Daily Mail. They cut him like you fillet a fish, but we didn't find the pelt. Now, there was hair. Remember, there was animal hair found in Bryan Kohberger's apartment in WSU. At WSU. We all thought maybe Murphy's, but maybe it wasn't. Captain, you would have to be a complete psychopath to do something like that. There he is with poor little Buddy. And look how little Buddy was. He was tiny. He was a little mini Australian Shepherd. Completely defenseless. Horrible. A Latah County Sheriff's deputy who photographed the pooch's remains has confirmed that the killer is human. The sickening crime was committed 23 days before Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle were stabbed to death in their off-campus home 3 miles away. On Sunday, police said they believed the attack was targeted, but continue to be unsure where the killer or killers could be. The murder weapon has not been found. Authorities haven't linked Buddy's death to the shocking murders, but locals fear there may be a connection between the 2 incidents. Everybody is nervous and scared. This is something awful and evil, Pam told the paper. We let Buddy out, and somebody must have been waiting out there. Bud never leaves the yard, but this person grabbed Buddy. Shortly before the dog's death, Jim. Oh, shit. Y'all got to be shitting me. I never knew this. Oh, this had the brain. Shortly before the dog's death, Jim, 73, also found the remains of a rabbit with its scalp and ears sliced off near the couple's home. It had the head sliced right open and you could see the brain. Remember the brain found at Ethan's frat house the morning of the murders? This all has to be connected, y'all. It has to. It has to.
That's too weird. How sick. I wonder how shortly before the dog's death he found this rabbit. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to find that blotter. November 13th. Hold on. I ain't making this shit up either. I don't remember everything, but the shit I remember is usually right. If I remember it. Okay, if that makes any sense. Let's go forward. I'm finding it right now. So it was right before the unconscious person. Damn, where is it? Potato, are you still here? Oh, the guy reported it after. That's right. The guy didn't report it until the next day when he heard about the murders. So hold on. That's right. I just remembered. The dad reported it the following day. After he heard about the murders, he was like, whoa, there was a fucking brain. I know I did. Yeah, Potato, do you remember where that was? The brain video? Or the brain report? I don't know. I can't find it. A small brain was found on the dumpster by a dad who was dropping off his son for the weekend, like Sunday morning. But when he called it in, he found it at 11:30 that morning. They didn't call 911 till 11:56. You have it saved, CEO? I think you're messing with me. Okay, let's finish the animal thing. So the man Jim found the remains of a rabbit with its scalp and ears sliced off near the couple's home. It had its head sliced open. You could see the brain. The Colberts' next door neighbor, Clinton Hughes, posted a message on Facebook when Buddy was found dead. Moscow public alert. This sounds like clickbait, but it's not. Last night after 2 a.m., our neighbor's sweet little dog was skinned like a deer. He wrote on October 22nd, no animal did this. Our dog is bigger and was so anxious about the same time that he tore up his bed into 1,000 pieces. Also, our cat has been missing for the last couple days. Yo. For real? See, you know? Listen, a cat's missing. The neighbor's dog in the middle of the night tore up its bed. I bet you the neighbor's dog knew what was happening to poor little Buddy. And then we have the damn brain. No, this was near the Moscow house. the King Roadhouse. He says, no, not sure if it's tied to Halloween, and I don't really care. I'll be chambering all my firearms, and I would suggest everyone else in North Moscow do the same. Moscow Police Chief James Fry said investigators have sifted through hundreds of tips and interviewed dozens of people to solve the student murders. Police initially said there was no threat to the community after the crime was discovered, but later backtracked and urged people to be vigilant. That was sus. The Post has reached out to Moscow police about the animal killings. No response. Yeah, the brain was on the dumpster at Ethan's frat house. I mean, that other dog had to have known something was going on. I mean, it had to have. Hey, Micro, it's horrible. I sure wish I could find that post. Yeah, I don't know. Dang it. I hate when I can't find stuff that I know is there. I have the police report. I just don't know if I can pull it up right now. Because I did FOIA it after I saw there was a small brain. I did FOIA that, but it's been so long, guys. I don't know where the hell it could possibly be. It does. I mean, it really does. Thank you, Rebecca. The question would be how long had animal mutilation went on or missing pets? Do any line up with the nights BK was stalking the girls? Have there been any incidences since the murders? Right. Those are all great questions. Now the dates. This happened, let's see, October 21st. So oh wait, I don't want to go to YouTube. Hold on. So October 21st, let's see what we've got as far as a timeline. Because I can't keep all the dates correct, but maybe this will help us. So if we go down here, oh, this is just from the 12th. He was pulled over in August, but I don't know about October, right? He was around that area driving around. You would think that if there was someone else doing that stuff, they would still do it. It's been 3 years. So I totally get that question. That's a really good question. Like I said, I haven't looked at that blotter, since they arrested him, really. I'm still looking. Do you guys remember too the white Elantra in Oregon? Was it? It was Oregon. The crashed up car. They said there's no connection. Sorry, I'm just eating a cracker. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, I know. You know what I did? Check this out. I have so many videos on this case that I forgot I did this. If you go to my playlist and go to I tried to separate all of them by year. So if we go back to Moscow Murders 2022, here's our videos. I forgot I did that. Okay, so we have the press conferences, theories and stuff. We have the grub truck video. Crime scene photos. Oh, this is like when we did the close-ups of the... That's a good one. Then we got the footage from the Corner Club. Remember that footage? And then if we go back here, we can go to 2024 or 2023 rather. 341 videos. So if we sort them by date added oldest. Here they're doing a lot. Here's, oh gosh. Emma Bailey. Bushy eyebrows. The grub truck enhanced. Oh, the ransacked car. Tons of crows on top of the house. The 911 call. I bet you we'll find it in here. News blotter. Drug bust on Frat Row. I don't know what that is. Gosh. Footage of the last time Dana Smithers was seen. Why Bryan Kohberger is just like Ted Bundy. Kohberger's disturbing rap. Kohberger's parents in the grand jury. Bryan Kohberger finished high school at home. Oh, the Josco video. Is this Bryan? Failed military and LE career. Friend said he would put him in headlocks, hence fight me. Kohberger lost his job at WSU. His Spotify and raps. Oh my God. Cam catches 3-point turn. Oh wow, this was leaked a year ago? Hold on.
Authorities believe the murders took place between 4 and 4:25 a.m. The Elantra was then seen passing by the house a fourth and final time around 4:20 a.m., heading south out of town.
Why do I have summer in there? I must have thrown that together, but look. It ended up getting leaked, didn't it? That wasn't a lie. That was a year ago. Thank you, Diana. We got visual snow. This is when I really started digging. Remember this one at the memorial? Like, is that Bryan? Remember that guy in the blue coat? Look at this. Dr. Brucato's fascinating profile, Bryan Kohberger. Do you agree? This is where he was on the comments. Kohberger secret. Okay. Walmart receipt. Dylan Mortensen's dad. How did Bryan Kohberger's best friend die? This one right here. Let me put this in chat. This is about his friends. This guy and this girl are both dead. And there's his mom right there. I said, did he have a kill kit? And does he look like his mom? Looks just like his mom. Twins. The school counselor came out, said they were very involved. Let's see. Proof Bryan was inside looking. Do you guys want to watch the inside looking one? And here's another one. Kohberger's friends and drugs. Here's another one. It's okay, CE, no. We also have the tire marks. Here, let's watch the inside looking. I don't remember what this is all about. So, new to me too. Here we go. Guys, I've got one hell of a video for you today. Get ready, because we're going to get into some of inside looking posts from Reddit. And then we're also going to listen to an interview that Steve Gonsalves did with King 5 News. I'm pretty sure that I've got proof that Bryan Kohberger was inside the King Road house, inside looking. Okay, so here's inside looking. I'll read it. It says, speculation. Killer parked behind the house, approached property through tree line, entered sliding door and left it open, committed murders and exited sliding door. One knife, according to coroner's statement. Time of murder, approximately 3:20 to 3:40, according to car fleeing the scene and on camera on highway. The tires, he changed one tire. Yeah, he did. Didn't he do it in PA? He panicked after the forensic team was measuring the marks on the road. Could be. I don't, CE, no. So he's saying 3:45. Vehicle left skid marks upon exit. Please see photos below for more information. I'm just going to let this play. I'll stop periodically. So, as we look at some of Inside Looking's posts from Reddit, and the topic of this one is, anyone still think it's the ex? And he is all over this one. No, LOL. The perp is not on that list, LOL. So why have a cleared list? So why have a list then? That's not how it works. See the cleared list. He really did not want these guys getting credit for what he did. He didn't want them to think, oh, the ex did it and the cops just, blew it. He wanted this to be an investigation and him be the center of it, and being in the center of it, talking about it and getting people's thoughts. That's why he directs them down a certain road. As he's pointing them down this path, he's circling certain pictures of evidence, things like that. He's talking about ladders, getting into the third floor from the outside. Here's a couple of photos of the King Road house showing the ladder. The ladder was even there the day that investigators were doing the drone footage after the murders. And then another one says, what did you guys take from the dad's comments about the steps? And that is referring to this.
He doesn't have to go upstairs. His entry and exit are available without having to go upstairs or downstairs.
One of them.
He doesn't have to
may
go
have
up
been
the
the target.
steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up the steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it. It wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
Calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill.
Seeing that footage now gives me goosebumps. To see him go from mildly frustrated to absolutely frustrated, it just really sears through me. But with that being said, with Inside Looking going along with this video, we've got Inside Looking answering a question from somebody who says, what did you take from the dad's comments about the steps? Inside Looking says, isn't it obvious? So I take this to mean that X was the first target. Inside Looking also goes on to say that X was the first victim. What do you guys think of that?
Makes you sick. It's sickening, I'm sure, to see the information that came out in the affidavit about how he had been by the house multiple times prior to the murders as well. I don't know if you guys knew that early on.
Steve's thinking, heard about it? Shit, lady, we discovered it.
Yeah, and close enough that he was touching their Wi-Fi. His phone was touching their Wi-Fi. Yeah, so
We've all heard him say this before, but this right here is what I never heard before. If you guys heard it, I apologize. But this was new to me, and I find it to be absolutely mind-blowing.
you know how close that is. If you've had a laptop, you walk out into your front yard, you're not going to get too far. You walk out into your front yard, you're not going to get too far.
I don't think I saw that part. Wow.
All right, and the next Inside Looking, we have him talking about the point of entry. Check this out.
The entry point was the slider or the window. It was in the middle floor. So
what do you think? Do you think that that window really was touched, and that's why they were spending so much time on the evidence in that kitchen window?
Update, they needed me to sign a waiver form so that they could investigate something that was mail related. So we're working with them. We're not selling them out.
And this is what Inside Looking had to say about the mail. More here than you think. Remember Christy Gonsalves saying this?
So, and her bake records, the amount of records on Q was probably, I think fairly to say, was more than the other victims. So, curious where that's going to come.
If we got her wallet.
We got things from her room. Her room really wasn't part of it.
I'm talking about her wallet with her ID in it and her debit card. And
Yeah.
Kaylee's mom is literally jumping out of her own skin, wanting to talk about this stuff. It says the perp is not on the list, LOL, so why have a cleared list? So why have a list then? That's not how it works. This one's pretty chilling right here. Hang on, let me turn this down. It says, at what point should we worry? And Inside Looking says the long haul has started. All right, guys, that is our second wrap up. All right, that's what I have on Inside Looking there. I thought I had more on Inside and Outside Looking, to be honest with you. The July pool party. Hold on, I'm just scrolling through here. Oh, the coroner. Let's look at this video about what the coroner said. This is a J is for Justice podcast.
Roberta.
Hey everyone, welcome. New here, please a thumbs up. In my last video, we talked a little bit about inconsistencies in what the police said, what we've heard from the victims' families versus leaks that are being released. And there was a leak released last Thursday, which was pretty monumental for the case. Pretty graphic details. And I'm going to show you some clips. And you guys let me know what you think. News Nation does not name their sources. They just say sources close to the investigation.
Ooh.
Do we trust these sources?
Do we?
Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.
A couple of sources with knowledge of the investigation have told News Nation some details that up until now we did not know. Number one, they told us that the victims, Kaylee Gonzalez and Madison Mogan, were killed first, and they confirmed that Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were killed on the second floor afterwards. And these are some of the other details that they have released. They said that Ethan Chapin was killed in the doorway of Xana Kernodle's room before the killer set upon Xana.
Okay, so was News Nation's sources wrong?
The sources say that it appeared Ethan had stepped partly into the hallway where the attack may have begun. These sources also say that Ethan Chapin suffered a slash to the neck. But I have to say that both of these details are in direct conflict with what the coroner had originally told us right here on this program exclusively. And also, they conflict directly with what police have said as well.
Now let's take a listen to Captain Roger Lanier.
Moscow Police Department officers responded and located 4 victims, 2 on the second floor and 2 on the third floor. The Latah County coroner has conducted autopsies, and detectives have been provided with the results of those autopsies. We know that the autopsies confirmed the identity of the 4 victims, determined the cause and manner of death as homicide by stabbing, and determined that it was likely all 4 victims were asleep during the attack.
Those 2 facts that are in conflict are that all of the victims were in their beds, according to police and the coroner. And according to the coroner, all of the injuries were stab wounds and not slash wounds.
And now let's listen to the coroner with Ashley Banfield.
Were any of them slashed? Were any of their necks cut? Or were these all puncture wounds?
Well, it was a pretty large knife, so it's really hard to call them puncture wounds. And they were definitely stabbings.
Can you tell me, when you say that they might have been sleeping, were they found in beds?
Yes.
These other details that we have learned from these 2 sources, that Xana Kernodle put up a fierce fight when the attacker set upon her, repeatedly grabbing the attacker's knife, so much so that she sustained deep cuts to her fingers and that her fingers were nearly severed. Now, that does actually work in comport with what Xana's father had reported to an Arizona news outlet about what he knew.
Why so many inconsistencies in this case? Let me know what you guys are thinking about all of this. So, yeah, as we navigate through this crazy. What do you guys think of that? Remember, he parked in the side of the house, not uphill. That was determined by the cameras and the reflections of his car lights. It's crazy. So these are the 2023 videos. Let's see what else we have. Constant emotional turmoil in Bryan's life. Here you go, guys. This is for you, Diana. Here's Kohberger's rap. Or when he was chubby. Maybe that's when he...
Always sleeping stunning, always gentle giant, no defiance, all building a...
Remember he said he was a gentle giant in his rap. So that would tell me he was still fat when he... So in 11...
When the time is right, procrastinating, mind deranged to change would be a fight. So I'm passing fist, like I'm afraid to get a bloody fist. Look at this, my mind is pissed, and I keep running. Why is this? When I hit it, always leave him stunning. Always gentle giant, no defiance, all building alliance, and still think that I am peasant. I stuck in the future, but I'm never looking at the fucking present. Keep it up, act like you're all that. Here's a cookie too and a present. Led from a desert eagle, eagles going louder than my motherfucking beagle. And your life you get no sequel. Leave your loved ones crying like some seagulls. You are not my equal, you are evil, but I'm feeble. And now I'm going regal. Don't fuck with us. You learn a lesson. XR music.
XR music. Let's see. Do you remember the red Mustang too? That was weird. There was like some weird, they were in hazmat suits around this Mustang. Remember this? What was that all about? Red were removed. I don't know if we ever found out.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Ted Bundy's timeline. Did you guys? Here it is.
Still sitting there. That one car still has not been back.
That was JLR's recording.
The youngest, I don't know if I could believe her, but
which one was cleaning the thing with bleach?
I don't know. The big one, the night that I totaled my car, the big one came out and asked.
It wasn't the big one. It was the smaller guy.
The smaller guy was here not too long ago.
Did you confront him and say, "What are you doing"?
No.
No.
With everything going on,
You called short at.
That was weird. Like, JLR said he found a recorder in a dumpster. Remember that? Oh, thank you so much, Flobo. Thank you for 5 memberships. Full Deck, Micro, Crimson Moon, Legendary CE No, and Avocado Toast. Enjoy your memberships. Yeah, we went through all these blotters. But here, I want to show you guys about the small brain before I forget. Hang on. Let's go to history. And oh my God, look at Nancy Grace, itty bitty ditty. Oh shit. His dick size must have came up in court or something weird. Okay, so I don't know who this is, but I'm
like regular report.
It sucks. I can't find I'm the one that got this report, but anyways, this is the police report about the small brain. As you can see, they were called on 11/16/2022. Or they were called on 11/15. But if we go up here to the details. Suspicious John Rosinski. Thank you, CE. No, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You're a dork. It says here, suspicious, and this was phoned in on the 15th, and the narrative reads, reporting party reported that a small brain, most likely animal, was on a dumpster by Sigma Chi when he dropped his son off on 11/13/2022. Reporting party thought it was odd and wanted it reported. Legendary did it again. Thank you, Legendary. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. I thought I was seeing double. I've been on here so long. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. It's sweet of you. See this? Small brain. Don't call me daughter. Look at small brain on the dumpster. He found it on 11/13/2022, which is the morning after the murders. And then we have the buddy's dad finding a rabbit skinned open, exposing the brain. Here's the whole thing. The guy reported it probably after hearing about the murders, like, whoa. Creepy, huh? James O'Keefe released some stuff about Epstein. Yeah, it's disturbing, isn't it? When you couple it with Buddy the dog and everything else. It's super disturbing. Thank you for finding that, Diana. I appreciate that. But yeah, again, if you go to these, like Moscow murders, let's go to 2024. You know, this is the thing. Here's 2023. Oh, here's 2024. Okay. A lot of this is like podcasts. It's weird. Kaylee Gonsalves found in the bed or no. Oh, this is when I started digging into the president and the university. It doesn't look like all of that is saved, but we should do another live, though, and actually go over the body cam from when the kids were called and the 3 a.m. body cam, because I think he could have done that. Do you guys think he could have been the 3 a.m. call at Band Field? Like, if you think he was making calls. Shannon Nelson. I think the last leak was defense. Thank you for your super chat. Why do you think that? Are you thinking they're going for like a mistrial? Like, what would their motive be? That's what I just can't understand. I'm dying to know who it is, though. Thank you, Timsy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. Just scrolling through these. Oh, this is what I wanted to pull up, Miss Diana. The Idaho 4 Fox digital photographs. We haven't looked at these in so long. I have a whole Discord of could-be Kohbergers and all kinds of stuff. Remember this guy doing his videos? Jesus. Remember this guy? Do we think that looks like Blowburger? See, I said this then. That guy had to be him. What do you guys think? Walking past the crime scene. Put a 1 in chat if you think that looks like Kohberger. Look at his chin. Cyray might be mad the judge said his work was a conspiracy. Micro. No, it's too wild. You think it's him, Ganja? Well, isn't it interesting that he's cut off? And he's got a phone in his hand, too. Creeping around while they're investigating. Oh, I'm just a PhD student. Can't really make out the shoes, to be honest. I don't know. Let's see what I was saying back then. That's not one. Sorry. Bad example. Hold on. I could have sworn they all, and I still think that's him too. In the corner right here. I don't think that's that Adam kid. I think that's Kohberger. I don't know why. Maybe I'm wrong, but I forgot all about this stuff. All were wearing those buffer coats. Was I wrong? Who said that? Because I've never. That's definitely Jack. Let me go back to this. What the hell? Yeah, that I thought that was kind of weird. I forgot about that. There's Jack. Of course, the Daily Mail got him right up close and personal. Might be mom putting it out. What mom? Whose mom? Judy says, I still think those two that weren't sleeping had something to do with it. It could have been some of their friends. All right, let me mute this. Okay, here's some of the pictures we went over. We zoomed in and all the good stuff. That's the front of the house. You can see the front of Maddie's car there. Now here's a zoom in on the door where the killer supposedly entered. Oh, look at Jay in her Christmas sweater. That's where he would have walked through, guys. Kohberger's mom, why would she have access to all this stuff? Would she be I mean, she wouldn't have Discovery, I wouldn't think. So they're taking pictures over here. And then here's the view from back here. You can see boxes of Kaylee's stuff as she was moving out. Here's the mess in the kitchen. And here's that blood. I zoomed in on that blood. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I didn't listen to a lot of her stuff, Lynette, to be honest with you. So I don't really know all that she put out. I kind of avoided her, but I'm wondering now if she didn't know some things. But I didn't, like I said, I don't know everything she put out. And there's Bethany's window, and they were also like photographing around Bethany's window, but they probably photographed every window, I would imagine. There's the ladder. I've always been bothered by that ladder. But there's the view into the kitchen and Kaylee's room from like that other road, Walenta or whatever it's called. You think she was totally lying? You remember the box on the table you thought was a head, Jay? I don't think I thought it was a head. Did I, CEO? Or did someone else think that? Come on now. Look at there they are over there by that parking lot area. Oh, I don't like all the fuckery going on with the evidence now. This is messed up. And then there's Dylan's window. There's the blood again. I don't know if I thought that it was a box or a face. See, look at it with the lights on. You can see right in there. I wonder if he sat there and watched them like party and stuff and then called the cops and watched. I remember somebody there was a talk of a face, though. I'm just not quite sure it was me, CE, no. And then this was kind of funny. These girls were bringing donuts to the cops. I was like, okay, that's random. Another thing that I thought was weird was that they only had crime scene tape around the front of the house. Nothing around the parking area. Don't you think they should have blocked off like that whole parking area just in case? Like, how would they know there wasn't any evidence in the parking area? It's weird that the Fox Digital guy is this close. For donuts. Water, it really is. Look how close the Fox Digital reporter is, though. There was talk of Kaylee having a stalker, but it was quickly dismissed. And I don't know if maybe, I don't know. They're going to prove that? For donuts. I'm looking at their shoes. I'm looking at everything. Jesus. Okay, so here is where they're analyzing those skid marks. I love looking at these photos are the best. Fox Digital had the best photos. And then he changes his tire. They widened it later, but why later? Why freaking later? Like, that should have been done, I feel like, immediately. That guy looks unsettled as hell, doesn't he? Triple L says, I'm way behind, but we need to just blame the leak on Cy-Ray. See, there's some crime scene. Oh, yeah, they did. This is after they extended it out right here. It's on the garbage cans. They felt safe as safe can be. Safe as safe can be. But they got all these photographers all up in the area. Like, stop. I feel like no one should have been allowed on that road. But I'm no crime scene investigator, so. He got new tires also before the crime. No, you would never think this would happen. Absolutely not. Here we have like the evidence tape on the door. The scissoring, the scissoring stools. Remember the scissoring stools in the doorway? Everybody was tore up about those. I'm circling crap. Here's a close-up of an evidence bin. What happened to the DoorDash delivery person? I think they're a witness in this case, and there's a gag order. So I don't know what you mean by what happened to them. They're probably anxiously awaiting having to testify. I wonder if at any point someone tried to come back and fuck with the windows or anything. So if you look at this picture here, the outdoor handle is still on the door here. They hadn't removed it yet. And that would be the killer's point of entry. He would have opened that door and left it open. Yeah, it sure is, Dana. Tightly sealed. Next service was done on 8/15 in Pullman, where tires were replaced once again. Oh, wow. That was from the Carfax, wasn't it? I remember seeing that. Do you guys remember that weird security service that was there? Hell's Canyon Security? So there, I'm just going over that. This is a downstairs window. God, how sad. And then here they are towing away their cars. When do you guys think they remove the bodies? That's always bothered me too. Yeah, so new tires in August and a new tire on the drive to Pennsylvania. You would think so, Urban, unless the heat was just kicking and kicking and kicking. Where was their thermostat located? Because if you leave a door open, see, now they're looking over this fence here too. If you leave a door open, right, the heat's just gonna be on and on and on and keep their bodies warmer. Yeah, I remember Nancy Grace's table and her gloves, her fingerless gloves. It is, Dana. I know. That's why I like going over it. It was called Hell's Canyon Security. And I looked at their website. It was so cheesy. I thought this has got to be the FBI. Ain't no way they're putting some $10 an hour officer in front of a quadruple murder crime scene house. You know what I mean? The same night around 10 p.m., close the streets and no pics. Gotcha. See, they still have the handle on that door in these pictures. And I don't know offhand what date. If those were the day, I don't know if that was the day of, or here's where they're removing the stuff and putting it in the U-Haul. Remember this day? This was wild. And watching all of this live was so crazy. Yeah, Bryan took HVAC. He learned through his dad. I did a whole deep dive in a live stream. We went we would dive into everything. There's Fry and that other guy. We don't know who any of these people are, right? Like, I think she's actually at Idaho State Police. Red Solo cups are lined up on a white plastic table. This is just how it was frozen in time, you guys. There's the A&W restaurant where he's like, I don't know what that A&W is. What am I saying? Those skid marks. That's the conclusion I'm coming to. Oh, what's your conclusion, Jay? Let's go back. Why do you say January 20th, Mike? So, again, we just talked about this. Them finding those skid marks at the scene. And then this car being 4 minutes away at 3:45. So they think that this car made those skid marks. Oh, interesting. So here we have 3:45. Remember, he's driving up and down the road, and then he's seen somewhere else. So that's how they're going to piece it all together. With the video from Dateline where he's in and out of the King Road neighborhood. And then here we have him, at the Exxon, picked up at the A&W. That's the conclusion I'm coming to. Is that they think this car created those skid marks. Well, no shit, Jay. So remember, people thought this was blood as well on the cabinets? I think it's a reflection in the window. I don't think it's blood at all. But see, no, this is where the face was. This is the face discussion, I think. Because I believe it was this window. Somebody said there's a face. View of what it looked like to look inside their house. You and yours as well, sweet. No, Leo, we don't know. Figure out what the heck. Of course. Bliss, Leo. Oh, Merry Christmas, Jaybird. Thank you. So sweet. One I saved just because. So, let's see what Santa does for Rex. Here we go, Rexy. Rexy has been naughty this. That was fun. Here's the view out. Okay, so this is interesting as well. This is the view from inside Maddie's room. Looking outside, and then there's that parking lot beyond those trees. Yeah, we don't like him here either, Angela. We don't promote him at all. We don't like people who talk down to other people. But clearly, if you were out there watching, outside looking in, you could see inside Maddie's room. Look at my dog. Aw. What do you guys think of that? Santos, you may be right. Shannon thinks defense is the only one to gain from the leak. What if it wasn't about gaining anything other than maybe a little paycheck for leaking it? You think Maddie was his obsession, CEO? So this is this is the front where you go downstairs to leave. And then here's those neighbors. And there's their light bulb camera where that audio came from. They look shook. The one girl looks like she's about to throw up. But we have this guy standing out there. You think it was the defense setting up for a retrial? So, yeah. We got the layout. Got so much. So many videos. So much content. It's crazy. So anyways, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. Next video, we'll go over the body cams again. Because I'm too tired. My eyes are tired. There's the orange pumpkins. Yeah. But yeah, you guys check out my playlist. I did try to break them down the best I could by year. So that might make it a little bit easier. But yeah, we covered a lot of stuff. Oh, shoot. What do you guys got going on this weekend? It is Friday. Friday. You don't think so, Mike? You think it'll just get brushed under the rug? Thank you so much for your generosity, CE No. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Oh, yeah, the undie girl. Cole, I'm not sure yet. But thank you for asking. I haven't decided. I got to go get something to eat. It's already 7 p.m. But you guys, check out the replay if you're just joining. We went over a lot of things. I will chapter it when this gets through. But thank you again, guys. I appreciate your comments, and I love talking this case. So we shall do more. We've got lots of videos, lots of things to look back at. So I appreciate you guys. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Good luck, Potato, at your competitions. I have no doubt you will win. Let's run our credits, Maestro, and let's get the heck on out of here because it's Friday. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this live stream or video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my latest content. Want to take it a step further? Bring it all in. And join our community clickers by becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You'll get exclusive access to our Discord server, special channel perks, and much more. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.
Click. It's real easy, man.